Those can work in some cases. The problem I find is you put in a lot of money and you get a little bit out.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Let's talk about pensions, Mark. How many companies do you come across in your area that actually still provide pensions?
It's fewer and fewer. So, unless you work for the government or the university, I have some clients that work for U of A or people that work for the government, there's some pensions. I have quite a few Raytheon clients, and the ones that have been there a long time have pensions. Unfortunately, the ones that are newer with Raytheon don't have pensions. They get more added to their 401k, but they don't have pensions. So, and I've got some clients with Caterpillar now, and some of those people who have been there a long time have pensions as well. So you don't see it too much. And the ones that do have it, aren't still offering it to new people, unfortunately. So unfortunately, I think pensions are kind of a thing of the past. And you could kind of understand that with how expensive and how great they are for people. They're hard for companies to maintain that kind of benefit.
How does the lack of a pension change retirement planning for today's pre-retiree?
Well, you need to figure out where your income is going to come from when you stop working. When you retire, and retirement can be different things. If you retire, maybe you go and you're taking another part-time job, or you're going back to contract work, whatever it might be, where you're going to be earning some money. So that could be used. But if you're really not going to work at all, and that's going to be it, for most people, what they have is Social Security. So you really want to make sure you're maximizing that. And we have the tools here to help you determine what's the best way to do that. But figuring out where the income is going to come from, there's a lot of people out there, and not to knock them again, but a lot of people on the radio who are out there pitching annuities as guaranteed income. Those can work in some cases. The problem I find is you put in a lot of money and you get a little bit out. And so for a lot of people, with the rates where they are, they don't make a lot of sense in this interest rate environment. That's my opinion. So you got to figure out where it's going to come from. Is it going to come from your investments? Do you have rental properties? Where are these income sources going to come from to sustain you? And you need an increasing income because we have this thing called inflation.
Well, we're talking about pensions here with Mark Silverman, who certainly knows all about pensions, and they're not as prominent as they used to be, certainly. I think everybody knows that. But for those people who've been offered a pension buyout, where they take a lump sum at retirement instead of a monthly income, how do you advise them?
Well, it just depends. We look at the numbers. So a lot of times when they do a pension buyout, we'll see what the pension amount would be, what they would typically give you. And then we'll see what that lump sum is. And then we can see what that lump sum is in relation to what kind of internal rate of return they're basically giving you on that money. And we can run some analytics on that and figure out if that's a good deal or not. So again, it depends on how much they're giving you, what benefit you'd get if you kept the pension, what's your life expectancy, is there survivor benefits, all these different things can make a difference. So it's taking all this different information. This is what we do with our clients and figuring out what's the best solution. So you're not stuck out there by yourself, making a decision that you can't change once you've made that decision.
A lot of questions here today on Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman. I'm Ron Stutz, and I want to know, Mark, whether someone has an actual pension or a stream of income that behaves like a pension. How do you plan for inflation, since that income stream won't have the same buying power in the future?
Well, that's where I go back to everybody needs growth. You can't tie up all your money into one thing. You can't put all of your money into annuity like some people will tell you. You can't put it all into cash because that's not going to keep up with inflation. You need to have some type of growth. And, unfortunately, or however you want to look at it, fortunately, in my opinion, stocks still have been a great way to go. I know it's been volatile and things can be volatile, but, you need to understand that you don't have to put all of your money into stocks. We take a portion of it and balance that and have the right mix of stocks and bonds and the right stocks and bonds to have a portfolio that's going to generate over time the rate of return that we need to keep you on track to pay for all the things that you're going to be paying for, including inflation, which is, your cost of living and your lifestyle, making sure that still can be maintained.
Well, pensions, certainly a topic for an interesting discussion. If you'd like to talk about pensions with Mark Silverman and maybe alternatives to pensions, then you need that 20-minute introductory phone call. It's totally complimentary, and there is no obligation at all. If you'd like to make that happen, I'm going to give you the number in just a moment. But, Mark, when it comes to pensions and other things that you might talk about, what kind of a discussion is that going to be over the phone?
Well, we'll talk about retirement. Are you already retired? Because a lot of people we meet with are already retired. They just want to make sure that everything they're doing is going to keep them retired and not having to go back to work or running out of money. Or if you're planning on retirement, what year are you looking at? What sort of things have you done? What sort of things do you need to do? And then what our planning process looks like and how we analyze everything that you're doing to come up with a plan that's going to either make sure you're on track or keep you on track or get you on track to have the type of retirement and lifestyle that you want and that you feel you need. And so we'll have these discussions. We'll go into a little bit of our philosophy and how we work with clients, get some information from you, answer any questions. And then if we're both on the same page, what we'll do is we'll schedule time to come into the office here where we can meet face to face and get more in depth about what we do and how we do it and find out if it's a good working relationship.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601 or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. The show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.